I made the news again. You know, I've been talking to people to get back in the old business, right? And they keep saying, this doesn't matter. This case thing doesn't matter. We're still, we're looking at how we can make this happen, blah, blah, blah. I have watched more radio companies report the good news on this plea thing, and then I have heard from radio people who are talking to me more than they used to since the plea information came out. And I'm like, I'm starting to think these guys might have been bullshitting before, and they were like, we want him back. But, we want it back in the right, this thing's got to go well. Let's not stress him out. Let's not hurt his feelings, but we're keeping an eye on it. So give it a little time. I think we've got till, April 10th to work out the finer points. We will do that. And I think this bad boy is coming to an end. I could tell you why I think it's coming to an end, but I don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to spoil anything. Just know that I feel good, and that's it. That's it publicly, I should say. MN Vikings with 199 says, saw you on WJON for good reasons this time. Yeah, local news radio covering this. Former St. Cloud radio host may not be headed for trial. The guy who reported this is I think, operations manager or program director over at Town Square Media here in town. Paul Shea, also a classmate of mine. I graduated high school with Paul. One of our mutual friends is like one of our best pals. I like him. I don't know if he likes me. So old Shea wrote this up, and it basically just goes over what we were talking about on the show the other day. Does a pretty good job with it. It's a lot of people want to talk to me about it. Privately, I've had a lot of conversations about it, and I've been much more candid on what my thoughts are. But as far as publicly goes, feeling good. Just a lot of horse trading back and forth now. The finer points are good. We just got a few details that we want to work out. Some things we'd like to talk about. Some things that, they're not really asking much. They just kind of laid this out for us and said, what do you think? And now we're on the what do we think part. So again, it's moved a lot. It didn't move at all. And then it just started moving really, really fast. So if nothing happens this week, I'm going to be like, oh, now we're back to nothing happening again. It's let me just give you this piece of advice. Just don't get yourself caught up in the legal system. Okay. Don't do dumb shit. Don't do retarded stuff that gets you caught up in the legal system. It's a pain in the ass. I was watching something on Ethan Klein today, and there's this woman that follows him around and obsesses. She's the one who kind of got the call-in CPS thing started. And I just watched it, and I'm like, maybe I need to start taking a more active role in I just figure it's people who watch the show and then just go off and live their life and do their thing. But that's clearly not it. Some of this shit that's going down with Ethan Klein has kind of opened my eyes, and I'm like, one of these people these days is going to somebody. Honestly, this internet shit, it's gone too far. And one of these, because it's not like normal people like you and I, and I'm sorry, I got to pull rank here. Some of us can handle ourselves. Some people are too mentally ill to handle themselves. And I'm kind of starting to notice stuff a little more now. Especially with this Ethan Klein stuff, people are calling, and with my situation, the poor prosecutor in my case gets Patrick Melton and his fans emailing her every day. She said every day they're emailing her that I'm violating and I'm doing this, which of course I never have, and trying to get me locked in jail. And it's you can hate my guts. You can use me for content. You can make your money solely off the fact that you can't do a show and you need me. I'm totally fine with that. I always have been. But some of that shit, here's my thing. Unlike Patrick, I've done this for real. And I will say this, there is a certain responsibility you have to your audience. Not a lot. I never thought it was a lot. But if you have an audience of low IQ retards who don't understand joking and shit like that, you got to let those people know, hey, don't be a psychopath. Don't go too crazy. The problem is, I think he is one of the mentally ill psychopaths. But like this Ethan Klein woman, Denims or whatever, she's getting people calling CPS and legit trying to get this guy's kids taken away. You got people reporting me. Like our prosecutor in my case came to my lawyer and said, I'm getting all these emails. I just assume they're bullshit because it's just every goddamn day with these people. So like you're kind of having the opposite effect of what you want to do, but still there's not much difference between that and then, you know, thinking Aaron, you whip him up into a frenzy. Aaron's this bad, evil guy, or Ethan Klein or anybody, Hassan Pike or whatever. They're this big, bad, evil guy, and something needs to be done to them. And if they're not going to do it, then one of these audience members is going to do it. And I'm starting to see this, and I'm starting to see it bubble, and I'm like, it's just this shit ends up going too far, for sure, man, for sure. It's pathetic, don't get me wrong, like it is pathetic, but some of these people are psychotic and they take a shot at somebody because they're crazy, 100%. So there's this chick, Denims, and she's the one who got, her audience got CPS, or her audience called CPS, and said that Ethan wasn't cleaning up his pet's shit and his kids were eating it and getting sick. Now, this is obviously nonsense, but like, what has Ethan Klein ever done to justify something like this happening? Nothing. He's done nothing. Mentally ill people attach onto them, become parasocial, and then think that they imagine that he's committed some great crime and that he needs to be punished for it. I've learned it as I get more popular. You get these crazy people like Patrick and his ilk, and what they do is they invent a you in their brain that is not anywhere close to the you in reality. And then when the you in reality doesn't match what they've created in their mind, they convince themselves that you're not telling the truth and that that's not really you. Almost like you're a ghost or like an apparition or like a wizard. And then they go, no, what I think he is has to be true. And then they just confirm that and go, therefore, whatever I do to this person is justified. It's really psychotic cult-like behavior. But Ethan gets it way, way worse. You know, things like this. You try to find anything you can have thrown out to make your case a little bit stronger. I mean, remember, for example, in Nick's case, April ratted to the cops. That's why April's charges got dropped right away. They put them on later because she went back. But she was, I guess I can, well, I'll wait another month or so for that one. I'm going to give you the full breakdown of my police experience with that case once it's all over. But yeah, April ratted on everybody. I mean, told the story of, you know, the polycule thing, the drugs, I mean, she sang like a canary. When it was her turn, she told them everything that everyone had ever done, myself included. I mean, she laid it all out there on every person she'd ever known, basically. And they got that thrown out because if they were going to use that, they had to put her on the stand, and the state said, well, we don't really want to use her. I'm sorry, they didn't throw it out. They said, you can't use her ratting to the police unless you put her on the stand because constitutional right to face, cross-examine the whole thing. So the prosecution just said, we probably won't use her. So let's not worry about it. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But she sang like a canary, and they wanted to get that thrown out. They wanted to say, oh, they violated her, her right to remain silent, even though she offered up the information. I mean, she snitched big time.